So, if we talk about the biggest moment in sports, now tomorrow we will see a big match, that is the World Cup, Women's World Cup final between India and South Africa. We now head for the grand finish, the first ODI World Cup that features neither Australia and nor England, and will crown a new world champion on Sunday night by sending back two of the strongest team in the World Cup history. With the assignment of planning for the future, both India and South Africa stand on the cusp of history. The winners will not only lift the trophy for the first time, but could reshape the contours of the women's game in their homelands, if not globally. And to break down this big World Cup final, we are joined by DD India correspondent Suchitra from Navi Mumbai. Suchitra, very warm welcome. Talking about the journey of the Indian team. Initially, they won two matches that we saw few hiccups, but in the semi-finals, we can say surprised everyone with the kind of performance they delivered. But talking about the finals, against a team like South Africa, very unpredictable. In the first match, we saw 69 all out. Against the final league game against Australia, they were all out for 97. So, for India, what's going to be the biggest challenge against this unpredictable side?
Yes, good evening, Narayan. It's always a difficult task to face mercurial teams like South Africa, because you can never judge them in a particular match you cannot judge them by their previous performance, how they performed in the last match. You know, as you were just talking about their performance in their last league match against Australia, you know, being bundled out for 97, and then, you know, scoring that big total against England, one team against whom they lost in the semi-finals in the last two editions of the World Cup, and on the very same ground in Guwahati, where they were all out at 69 against an opposition and beating the same opposition by 125 runs in the semi-finals. So it definitely shows how South Africa can turn the tables, but it also shows how inconsistent they are. And if we talk about the Indian cricket team, you know, we have seen many tournaments, and the teams who eventually become the champions are the ones who bring out their best as the tournament progresses. So Indian team started well with 2 wins, but if we talk about their win in the very first match against Sri Lanka, it was not a very convincing win. It was their lower order batters who won the match for India, because at one point in time they lost some early wickets and they were in difficult position. Then the match against Pakistan. Pakistan is not really a strong team, so that win cannot be really counted as a big achievement for Team India. But when they faced 3 strong oppositions, South Africa, England and Australia, then they buckled under the pressure. And you know, in all those 3 matches at one point of time, India was in a position to win that match, but they lost the plot somehow. But in that must-win match against New Zealand, we saw how Team India learned from their mistakes. We saw how they made some changes in their batting lineup. That was the match where Jemima was promoted and she scored a 50 when it was mattered. Then in the match against Australia, we again saw how, you know, they did not buckle down under the big match pressure, facing a team against whom they lost in 1 final and 1 semi-final. Still they gave their best. And if we talk about the captain, Harmanpreet, you know, she was the one who played that match-winning knock against Australia in then 2017 World Cup semi-final. And once again, even though she is off color in this tournament, but when it mattered the most, Harmanpreet, we saw her best. You know, those 89 runs and that partnership with Jemima was really the turning point of that semi-final match. So we can say that Indian team is peaking at the right moment, you know, right before the final. Their match against New Zealand, then their match against Australia. So Indian team's performance is really going upwards, and let's just hope that they continue this momentum in the final also, and win the World Cup for the first time. Narayan.
So, as you mentioned that they are peaking at the right moment, the way they big match they won against a big team like Australia, definitely a moral booster for them. And as you mentioned that we saw few shuffling as there was a change in position. She was moved up, Jamima Rodriguez. So do you think India have finally found the perfect balance ahead of this final, with batting depth till number 8 and the 6th bowling option? Do you see any changes in the order, or do you think that few more they may try some players for the finals, or will they go with that winning combination?
Captain Harmanpreet was asked this question about the playing 11 in the pre-match press conference, and she just smiled away, and she said that, we'll come to know about the final playing 11 right before the match. But as I can see and what I expect, I think no team would like to tamper the winning combination in the final. And if we talk about the semi-final, then of course Shefali Verma was inducted due to the injured, in place of injured Pratika Rawal, and she is an opener, and we do need an opener. So I think Shefali Verma will be playing in the final, and the way the team performed in the semi-final, I don't see any reasons to make any changes for the final. So we can see the same playing 11 in the final that played against Australia in the semi-final.
Definitely, as things stands, we also can say that the way they played in the big match, that is the semi-final against Australia, it's better to go with that combination. And talking about the South Africa, that we saw that they also went unchanged into their semi-final, but saw their hard-hitting opener Tasneem Brits hurt her shoulder in the Guwahati. So from the South African point of view, do you see some shuffling? They will bring someone, or as the Brits said that she will come back again, or but the team management will, do you think will stick with Brits, or they will throw some surprises?
Narayan, South Africa's pre-match press conference was held before their practice session. So, the captain, she went for the practice session right after the press conference. So, she was asked about the playing 11 and any changes in the team. And she said that they did not have a look at the pitch and surroundings. And we also know that India played their last 2 matches and the one match that was washed out against Bangladesh in Navi Mumbai. But South Africa was playing in Guwahati. They played their semi-final in Guwahati, and they have landed here right before the final, and this is the first time that India is going to meet South Africa in Navi Mumbai. So they may have some changes in their lineup, considering the pitch in Guwahati was very different from what we get here in Navi Mumbai, because D.Y. Patil Stadium is known scoring matches, and any score is chaseable here. So you can't stick to the same playing 11 what you picked in Guwahati for D.Y. Patil, because both the stadiums, both the surfaces are totally different. And if we talk about the teams also, then the Australian team plays differently to what Indian team plays, because as we see, Alana King, that kind of performance she had against other teams, she was not that successful against the Indian team. So similarly, South Africa will keep those things in mind, that this time they are facing India in D.Y. Patil Stadium, a better friendly pitch. And this particular stadium, D.Y. Patil Stadium, is called the home of women cricket in India. WPL this particular stadium is very famous for the WPL matches. So Indian team is literally playing at their home. So South Africa will definitely keep in mind the batting conditions here, and they may make some changes in their playing 11. Narayan.
Definitely, the condition, always we should respect the condition, and horses for the courses will be the key to success. Thanks, Sucha, for joining us and giving a perspective of this big match between India and South Africa, the Women's World Cup final in November. Thanks a lot.